dun. Here we are. We are live.
Yeah.
Waiting to see how many people come in and see what happens. Don't know when I'm going to be able to see whether people have arrived, but just for those of you, we've got 3 people. Oh, 3 people. That's cool.
Lovely.
Welcome to the Bronte Readathon live show with myself and the lovely Katie.
Hello, hello.
And we are here to talk about the Bronte books and obviously our love of the Brontes as well as the Readathon.
Yeah.
But yeah, how I was saying to Katie actually, how I found Katie's channel was because my darling sister Charlie from Charlie Book Reads recommended Katie because of the love of she said we love the same books and you love the Brontes. Oh, hi Jennifer.
Hi, Jennifer.
Let's just see
Yeah.
if I can share them. Yeah, I can do. That's how I'm going to be able to do it. I'm going to be able to share the comments that way. I'm just trying to. Sorry guys, sorry about the fact my screen. Hi Charlie. Sorry about the fact my screen is like portrait and it should be landscape, but it's just my phone playing up. And last time I did the Agatha live, I couldn't see the comments and it stressed me out. So joys of doing it on my phone. I'm not technical. I'm really not. But yes, so we found that and we started talking about the Brontes really quite early on in our on the BookTube days, didn't we, Katie?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. And I love the Brontes and talk about the Brontes a lot. And you love the Brontes. I feel like a lot of people on BookTube I found through love of the Brontes or Jane Austen, like or Elizabeth Gaskell, which is always fun. Yeah.
They're literally our favourite authors, aren't they? Literally. I love Jane Austen. I think you got me liking Jane Austen because I've never really read a Jane Austen book, but that's a different note. But through Jane Austen July, I've now read all her main novels.
That's fun.
But yeah, we found it because of a lot of the Brontes, and I think I literally I did a couple of read-alongs with Kate Howe as well. Like we read Wuthering Heights read-alongs. Do you remember we read Wuthering Heights and Jane Eyre together? I think Jane Eyre was the first one, and Wuthering Heights was the next one. But yeah, so it's like we could literally talk about the Brontes all day long. But
yes,
literally. But how old were you when you read your first Bronte? Do you think, Katie?
I was 13 when I read Jane Eyre. That was my first Bronte, and that was also my like first Victorian book, or my first like I probably did read like Alice Adventure in Wonderland as a kid, but my first like proper Victorian book reading was Jane Eyre when I was 13, and I just loved it very much. So that was when there was a really good miniseries, the one with Bruce Wilson and Toby Stephens, was on TV when I was 13, and I watched the first episode and I really really liked it. So my mum like gave me her copy of Jane Eyre to read, like, and so I read the book before the second episode, and I just loved it. And then I went and read all the Bronte's books at various points. I'm trying to think. I definitely read Wuthering Heights and The Ten of Wildfire Hall as a teenager. I think I read Agnes Grey as a teenager. Read Villette maybe at uni, and then I read Shirley a bit later, and The Professor. I think I was in my like early 20s when I read them. But yeah, love them all, except maybe The Professor. The Professor's okay. All of the rest are brilliant.
Oh, Jennifer put she read Jane. Jennifer's loved read Jane Eyre several times as a teenager, and Happy Knitter was like hi. So I read Wuthering Heights at school, and it was probably my first Bronte, and I think it was one of those things. We read it for like GCSE, or was it even like year 9? I can't even remember. And I remember reading it and like loving it. Literally, like it was the one book out of all the books I read at school that I literally loved.
Yeah.
And I grew up knowing about the Brontes because my nan, my mom's one of like my mom's mum had a love of the Brontes, had a love of literature, and she was the person who read us poems when we were growing up. So she would read us some of the classic poems that you probably know and we all know. And and it was like, so we sort of grew up knowing about the Brontes. And I can't remember how old I was when my mum said that me and my sisters were all partly named after Brontes. Because obviously, when growing up, when I was born, Emma was a popular name, and she said she didn't want me to be named Emma, but she liked Emily. She remembered Emily Bronte, and then Charlie was going to be my mum thought Charlie was going to be a boy, and she was going to be Charles after one of my grandfathers, and then Charlie was connected to Charlotte from Charlotte Bronte, and then Vicky, our youngest sister, is Victoria Anne after Anne Bronte. And like, so I'd grown up knowing about the Brontes, but it wasn't until I sort of joined BookTube that I read Jane Eyre. And relatively quickly after joining BookTube, I think you talked about the Brontes or something, and I remember reading Jane Eyre with Charlie for the first time, and it was like, wow. and I just fell in love with it. But I didn't love it as much the first time, which is quite interesting because when I just did the body read with Jane Eyre for the readathon with Kat from Brews and Reviews, Chatty from the Mad Chatter, and Danny from Danny's Book World, and they picked up points that I would remember from the first time, but they didn't love it as much as I loved it from the first time. It's really strange. They rated it the same like as I did.
Yeah.
But now I've reread it 3 or 4 times. I can now go into it. Like I can read so much more into it, which is so cool.
Yeah, I definitely think all the Bronte's books are very like layered. So the first time you read it, you really, really like there's so much to enjoy and get out of it. But also like another time you read it, you'll spot new things. Like Wuthering Heights is the one I've read the most, and I must have read Wuthering Heights like coming up to 15 times, like more than 10 times I've read Wuthering Heights, and every time I'm like, oh, a new thing. Like there's always something new to see.
Brilliant, isn't it?
You know, it's so good.
Well, Jennifer's put, shamefully she's not read any more by Charlotte Bronte. She read Jane Eyre but plans to do so this year. Charlie has put, yeah, she didn't like The Professor, loved Jane Eyre, she loves The Tenant of Wother Hall.
Yeah, The Tenant of Wother Hall.
Charlotte loved The Tenant of Wother Hall more than Jane Eyre. Danny's joined us. Hi, Danny.
Hi, Danny.
But Danny, oh God, you're going to laugh, Kate. This is the funny thing. Yes, he's literally, Danny's put, you already know my thoughts about Mr. Rochester, but she loved Jane Eyre in general. She hated, all the other girls in our group hated Mr. Rochester. But I love him.
Yeah, I like Mr. Rochester too. I think obviously he's quite a problematic character in some ways, but I think the dialogue between him and Jane and the conversations they have make me like him, even if he's quite like, even if he's got his problems. Yeah, and I think he's quite an interesting character to look at. Yeah. And I made a video years ago on my channel, which I still think is like one of my favorite videos ever made, though it was not one of the most watched ones, where I talked about like the plot structure of The Tenant of Wother Hall and Jane Eyre and how they're quite comparable in some ways. But I won't talk about too much because I feel like it's quite spoilery. But I think there's some interesting things to be said about comparing Rochester to Helen in The Tenant of Wother Hall, Firhill Hall in The Tenant of Wother Hall, and like thinking about things from that perspective like changed my impact on Mr. Rochester, which I think like helps in a way.
Yeah, I think you need to read more into it. I think I remember watching that video. Jennifer put she recently got a second-hand 1966 folio edition of Jane Eyre. God, I would love that. I want to get more editions.
Yeah, I love the old folio societies. You find them in charity shops, and you find these amazing old ones from like the 60s to the 80s, which or from whatever, that are quite cheap but really beautiful. Very cool.
Yeah, you've seen, you've got gorgeous copies. I've got all of the Wordsworth Classics editions of all of the Brontes, and I've got the Penguin cloth-bound classics of Tenant of Wother Hall, I think, and Wuthering Heights, obviously. But I want to get a really nice copy of Jane Eyre. But it's like I'm really fussy about what I want. Like I don't know whether to have another copy of cloth-bound classics, so I've got them all matching.
Yeah.
Or like loads of copies. But then Danny sent me a link to another copy of Wuthering Heights that's like a gorgeous another hardback one. I'm like, oh, I can't have 3 copies of Wuthering Heights, can I? Like,
I mean, I have 4 copies of Wuthering Heights, so
yeah. So maybe
I do. I have the like old like 1980s Penguin Classics edition of Wuthering Heights that was my mum's, that I used when I studied Wuthering Heights at A level, and it's got my like little annotations in pencil. And then I've got like a newer Penguin Classics Black Spine one that matches my other Penguin Black Spine books. And I have like a Parent Miller Collector's Library, like the really dinky little hardbacks that I have quite a lot of. I've got one of them, Wuthering Heights, and I also have a Folio Society edition. So if I have 4 copies of Wuthering Heights,
I could probably definitely have 3. I might treat myself. Yeah. Jennifer's put she loved Mr. Rochester's a great character. Have you read Wild Sergeant?
Why Sargasso Sea? Yes, I have read that. Not for quite a long time. I guess like 13 years ago I read Why Sargasso Sea. I studied that at uni alongside Jane Eyre. But it's been such a long time since I read it. I don't remember that well.
I don't know.
So it's by Jean Rees, and it's like a Jane Eyre retelling about. No, that's a spoiler. I won't say who it's about. It's a spoiler for Jane Eyre, but it's worth a read. Yeah, it's worth a read. I remember finding it interesting. After that, I read 2 more books by Jean Rhys, which are not retellings or anything, which I liked more actually. But I haven't read anything by Jean Rhys for like a decade now, so it's been quite a long time.
I have to look out for what you said. Charlie put the cloth-bound classics drive her crazy. They look pretty, but they're not practical when they rub off when you read them. Yeah, I must admit they're like the ones I don't really want to read too much because they're so pretty, but they're so gentle. I just like them on my shelves. But then I've just got hang on a minute. So we've got I've just got like my brain cell is not in gear today. Jack bought me a gorgeous dishcloth of Jane Eyre, and it's got up there I Am Alone. It's just the most gorgeous like dish, and it's now covering some of my classics, so it's like covering them.
That's really cool.
Melody Fairy said, get all the copies. I want the paperback dish penguin that I can just mark up and have fun poking my own holes in. So that sounds cool. Cheryl and Wayne. So Cheryl was Alice's best friend. So she's just joined us on the live. So hi, Cheryl. Jem's come on. Hi, Jem.
Hi,
Jem's
Jem.
And Nada's come on. We all love Nada.
Hi, Nada. Hi.
Speaking of hardback copies of Wuthering Heights, my paperback is starting to fall apart, and many recommendations for pretty sturdy hardbacks. Yes, sturdy hardbacks we need as well.
Yeah.
The cloth-bound classics are not sturdy. No, they're not.
No, I don't have very many of them. I've got one of Jane Eyre. There we go. I've got 4 copies of Jane Eyre as well. Anyway, that's perfectly reasonable amount of editions of Jane Eyre to have. But yeah, I don't have many cloth-bound classics, but I hear they do start to rub off a lot.
I think what I might do is I might then treat myself to the new Wuthering Heights one that Danny recommended and have a look and see whether that's a bit better copy of it.
Yeah.
I want to get another copy of Jane Eyre. That's the thing. I've only got 1 copy of Jane Eyre. I want more copies. So if anyone recommends me some decent copies of Jane Eyre, that's what I want now.
Yeah.
I may look in Waterstones as well. You never know. When we go to London in May, I may have to go and look for things before we meet up. Because we're a couple of the booktube girls, like the Waffle girls, are meeting up before we meet up with you guys because we have to get to London early. It's like a day out thing.
Yes, yeah, be cool.
So I may look for a pretty copy, and that'll be my excuse. Oh, so Cheryl's just read Wuthering Heights for the first time and really enjoyed it. Thank you for giving me a reason to finally get to read it. Oh wow!
Well, it's exciting. I'm glad you really enjoyed it because Wuthering Heights is a love-hate book, and not all people love it. So it's always very exciting when someone reads it for the first time and loves it.
I think on our Waffle group, Jack just read it and absolutely loved it, and she said it was absolutely amazing. I think it was really for Jack, but she loved it. I know Jem loves it.
My husband Nick read it for the first time last year, and he was like, "Why didn't you tell me to read Wuthering Heights years ago? This is one of the best books I've ever read. What have I been doing not reading Wuthering Heights all these years?" But
yeah, I was like that. Jennifer's she's got 5 copies of Anne of Green Gables, so I think multiple copies are reasonable. I've now got 2 copies of Anne of Green Gables because I got one for my birthday. And Jem put that Alice hated Wuthering Heights. Oh God, I remember that. Do you remember that, Katie?
Yeah, I think it's one of those books that just like I feel like there are some books I love like Pride and Prejudice, but I'm like, why would anyone hate Pride and Prejudice? But there are some books I love like Wuthering Heights, but I'm like, I completely understand why people hate Wuthering Heights. It's such a weird book, and everyone is so awful.
It's so
and
funny.
I love it, but I completely understand
all
the people who hate Wuthering Heights. I completely understand why Alice didn't like it, and there's a lot of people don't get on with Wuthering Heights.
Charles Heathcote doesn't like it either.
Yeah, and Claudia at Spencer's Library, I don't think she likes Wuthering Heights either. Like, there's lots of people. Yeah.
Excuse me, you're a second.
Bless you.
Hay fever season, horrible.
Yeah.
Jennifer said I would struggle to follow Wuthering Heights and she's never finished it. Oh, Jennifer's never finished it either.
Yeah, it's not for everyone. It's a weird book.
It is very weird. Nada's put Cheryl, welcome to the Wuthering Heights Fan Club. Yes, you are honoured. The Wuthering Heights Fan Club is like, we are the best. Let's be honest, Katie, we all love Wuthering Heights. It's about Melody's put Wuthering Heights as a favourite, followed by Jane Eyre. I think that's the thing. If you love Wuthering Heights, you're going to love Jane Eyre. The two are pretty close together. And I must admit, don't kill me, Katie, but I think Jane Eyre is almost beating Wuthering Heights this year for the first time ever.
That's fair. Yeah, I think so. Wuthering Heights is my favourite, but Jane Eyre is also the first Bronte book I read, and like the first Victorian book I read. So Jane Eyre has like a really high place in my like esteem, and also like emotionally, I feel very attached to Jane Eyre because it was like the book that got me started with Victorian literature. But yeah,
it's quite like, I think they're getting close, but then they're finding the more I read the Brontes, like Jane Eyre was obviously Wuthering. Let's be honest, Charlotte Bronte smashed it with Jane Eyre. So all her other books are not as you put them in comparison, that they can't quite meet it, can they?
yeah, I do love Villette. So there was a time when I decided that I loved Villette more than Jane Eyre.
I remember you having that.
But I don't think that is true now. But I also think it's kind of varied. And I also feel like, so I read Villette twice physically, really loved it, and then I listened to Villette on audiobook and didn't like it as much. And I think that was partly it, like in general, I tend to find classics work really well on audiobook for me, but I think Villette didn't so much. Partly because there's so much in French, and if I'm reading it physically, I stop to translate it with Google Translate app on my phone. But when I was listening to the audiobook, I didn't have that, and that probably also affected it. So I feel like maybe also my most recent reading experience of Villette wasn't wonderful. But I do think Villette is great.
I think that was why I struggled with Villette, because there was so much French. I don't like to go back to read it. So possibly if I was reading it slow and had time to go back.
Yeah, I feel like they should just bring out an edition with footnotes where they translate it in the footnotes. Like that would be so easy to do.
That would just be a lot.
But I haven't seen that. Yeah,
I haven't.
Yeah,
we've actually got a viewer from Brazil.
Oh, hi,
Brazil. I'm not going to try and pronounce your name because I'm useless at pronunciations. Everyone laughs at me about that. But hi. But like, I think that was why I struggled with Villette. So like when I did my ranking, but then like I actually kind of liked the Professor more, but I don't know whether that's the Professor was because it was shorter, and I could kind of read it, and I didn't have to like. I probably like, I don't know, there was something about it. I liked it a little bit more, but then I think on a reread, I've only read that once, whereas I've read Villette twice.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm like, here you go.
I was just say the one I really need to reread is Shirley, because I've only read Shirley once.
I think.
Yeah.
Do you want to do that for Victober? Should we read it together?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm very
because I was planning to reread that.
Let's probably read it in Victober. That'd be really good because I have.
That would be really cool, wouldn't it?
I can't remember if I've read it twice. I think I've only read it once, or if I have read it twice. Maybe I have read it twice, but both quite a long time ago. So yeah, that'd be good. Let's do that.
Yeah, I definitely want to read it because I was planning to. When I did my rankings, I was going through it and going, I remember you said that, and I remember you said that, but it didn't. It's not one that like, because when I went into it, I didn't know that Shirley wasn't the lead character in it.
Yeah, it's quite bewildering when Shirley just doesn't show up for most of the book.
Till like over halfway through, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, so I definitely wanted to reread that. That was what I found when I was actually looking at my rankings, going, actually, Shirley's one actually has potential to be really good if I possibly read it slower and had time to really go into it again.
Yeah.
And I think knowing I'm going to end up reading Agnes Grey before Victober, because I keep when I read it, every time I keep looking on my shelf, I keep going, I really want to reread that.
I do love Agnes Grey.
I love Agnes Grey. I'm wondering because at the moment that's slightly beating The Tenant of Barford Hall, which I know is controversial because everyone's like The Tenant of Barford Hall should be better than Agnes Grey, but I loved Agnes Grey because I think it was more autobiographical, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I do love Tenant of Barford Hall more than Agnes Grey, but I do also love Agnes Grey a lot too.
Yeah. Agnes Grey is really good. So as you said, Jane Eyre is my favourite. I thought it was very accessible and every girl should read it. Yes, a coming age book, 100%.
I feel like one of the reasons why I love Jane Eyre so much as a teenager is because it's a book about like, it is a real coming of age story, and also it's a book that it's about underconfidence in lots of ways, and like Jane like obviously thinks quite, she thinks she's not important, and she thinks and she doesn't have much confidence, but she also like says, I also have a right to be happy. And I feel like a lot of that kind of like confidence stuff and self-esteem, like a lot of that is quite like good reading for a teenager.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Mia's actually read it. My daughter's read it, and she's read Jane Eyre and Wuthering Heights at school already. She's only in year 8. She's already read them both. And she liked Jane Eyre more than she liked Wuthering Heights.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's my girl. It's one of the things like she's actually topped like set English, which I love. Like one of the things is she doesn't read these books at home, but she reads them all at school, and she's like, she has these proper discussions with me about these classics, and she was like, Mum, what do you know about the Brontes? I was like, well, do you want a long list? When she was like talking to me about it, she was like, oh, Jane Eyre was really good, isn't it? And I was like, yeah, it's just really, really good. He says, "Oh, I agree. The past doesn't define the future." Yeah, it does. But don't you think, like, we can't really give spoilers at the end, but don't you think the way she develops over the course of the book, Jane Eyre, is just incredible?
Yeah, it is really good. Yeah, it's got great character development, and like Jane as a character is so well created.
Who's your least favourite character in Jane Eyre?
Don't know. Don't know if I have a like. Yeah, I don't know.
St. John's mine. I don't know how. I know I've said it wrong, but St. John or something.
Oh yeah, St. John.
Yeah.
Yes,
that was how the girls were saying.
I do kind of hate St. John, but also he is quite interesting.
He's very developed, but it's quite the way he's. It's just he's the man that I don't like in it. If he's something, but you know what I mean. Love to hate character.
Yeah.
That's what I think of him.
Mm.
But god, I just think like I love reading. If you've read the poetry of the Brontes as well, haven't you?
Yes.
What do you think of their poetry?
I like their poetry. Yeah, I like their poetry. I think especially Emily's is really nice, and lots of like nice imagery. I don't love the poetry as much as I love their novels.
No.
Yeah, but I do really like it.
I think their poetry is more accessible than a lot of the other authors' poems, a lot of the other Victorian authors' poems. I think I like.
Yeah, I like Christina Rossetti. She's really good. She's one of my favourite Victorian poets.
Yeah, I probably need to read more of hers. I think I don't think I've read very much.
Try. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The Brontes, I think Emily Bronte, out of the three of them, Emily Bronte is probably my favourite, and that's not just because of the connections with Emily, but I think I've got a big poetry selection of the three of them, and actually Emily's ones to me stood out as ones that I just really liked.
Yeah.
And more setting. Oh, Charlie's written that Thomas Hardy writes very beautiful nature.
Oh yeah.
I do need to read his poetry.
His poetry is really good. Thomas Hardy is maybe my favourite poet. Is that true? Maybe.
Might actually have to look for some for Victober. I need to look for some. Already like 6 months ahead planning my Victober books. This is how sad of me.
Yeah.
Well, I already know one of the books I'm reading for Victober. I'm reading No Name by Wilkie Collins.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Because that's just I have to read Wilkie Collins every year. It's just
yeah.
You know you're again hit and miss with him, but I love him.
Yeah, I find him very hit or miss, but I usually enjoy the reading experience, even when I'm like, what have you done with Collins? What a stupid plot point. I'm still having a good time. And some of his books I do just think are incredible without me being annoyed at all. Yeah. He's good.
He's just like one of those ones, isn't it? But then that autobiography I read about Charles Dickens then put me like, I know Charles Dickens is your favourite author, but when I was reading his autobiography by Claire Tomlin last year for Victober, I got so angry at the guy. I was literally reading the book going,
yeah, so I haven't. So I noticed someone earlier asked about biographies of the Brontes, and I feel like in general I don't read a ton of biographies of authors, except for Jane Austen, who I've read tons of biographies about, even obviously not by. But Charles Dickens, I've never read a biography of him, and at some point, is that true? No, I did. I read a book recently that was like half biography, half literary criticism, but I haven't read like an in-depth biography of Dickens, partly because I'm like, do I want to know about his life and the stuff about him that might make me like him less? At the same time, what I did read Claire Tomlin's biography of Ellen Ternan, Dickens's partner, for like the last decade of his life, which obviously had quite a lot about Dickens in too. And I don't always agree with Claire Tomlin's like view on everything. Like I find her an interesting biographer, but she often writes stuff where I'm like, I don't think I agree with that, especially like her literary criticism.
I don't think I'm going to read her books again.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't sure if it was her writing or, like you say, her literary criticism or just what, but what she was putting about Dickens, I just got very annoyed.
Yeah, her biography of Jane Austen, there was lots of like, she obviously thought more highly of some aspects of Jane Austen's writing than others, and there were some things she didn't really like about Jane Austen, and I was offended on Jane Austen's behalf.
I found that. So we've got Ross has put, hi Ross, you put very wise, Katie.
Yeah. At some point I'll learn a lot about Dickens' life, but I don't need to.
Don't not going by Claire Tomlin. So you probably put Jane Eyre is my favourite too. Yes, Jane Eyre, we love Jane Eyre. But I think we need to like I think this year I'm not going to read any sort of non-fictions on some of the authors, because I think it really does put a bit of a. I have got a good book that Angela gave me about the Bronte sisters, which I may save for October, and it's like a little sort of a smaller book about the Bronte sisters. So I might read that because it looks sweet. But again, with the Bronte autobiographies, I've read Charlotte Gaskell's one on.
Oh yeah, I have read Elizabeth Gaskell's one of Charlotte Bronte. That I haven't read a biography of one of the Bronte sisters. I'd forgotten, but yeah, I have read that, and that is interesting, but quite different, I suppose. The one by what's it, Juliet Barker, the really massive one that my mum read and looked great, and I know lots of other people have read, and it's meant to be amazing, but it's like 1,000 pages long.
I've read that.
Very good.
I think I've got it somewhere.
Was it good? Yeah.
Yeah, really good. That was actually my most informative, and that was actually done. It wasn't prejudiced against any of the Brontes, which is what done good. Yeah. So Thazzy says, I don't know if you've already talked about it, but what are your top 3 favourite Bronte books, Emily and Katie? Well, I think I know Katie's, but you can say it anyway. No, mine.
Oh, I don't know if I know mine. Well, so it's Wuthering Heights and Jane Eyre. Yeah. And then it's probably The Tenant of Wildfell Hall, but maybe it's Villette. But it's probably The Tenant of Wildfell Hall.
That's exactly the same.
They can be tied. Yeah.
Yeah, that is mine, I think. It's like Jane Eyre. And that, did I put Agnes Grey?
Yeah, you said Agnes Grey. You liked.
I did say Agnes Grey, didn't I? So you watched it? Yeah, cool. Didn't. But yeah, I think it was Agnes Grey, which is close. But Agnes Grey and Tennant are really close. I think they were literally. I think that was literally the position, isn't it? It was like fourth was Tennant. So they're very close. Agnes Grey was just slightly topping it, but I think, again, when I reread it, will I think that more? I don't know. But Agnes Grey and Tennant are just so close, because for me, I think had Anne written more, she had potential of being probably my favourite Bronte, actually, which is that's the thing, isn't it? That's like sad. Roz has put, can we be prejudiced against Bramwell? Oh yeah, I think we can.
Yeah, maybe.
The more I've read about him, the more I'm just like, you Wally.
Yeah.
Did you think that when you read the Elizabeth Gaskell one, because obviously we knew that Elizabeth was friends with Charlotte, and the prejudice, do you think she was prejudiced against everyone else because she loved Charlotte so much? So like she was biased, not prejudiced, biased, I would think.
Yeah, probably maybe biased. And I think also with writing a biography, like not that long after, like I feel like at the time she was writing it, she was probably also thinking about like Charlotte Bronte's legacy and how she wanted to portray her and stuff like that. Like I think writing a biography not very long after is probably very different to writing a biography like 100 years on. Yeah, so I think Gaskell was definitely biased in some ways, but yeah.
She was like, I think she put about Bramwell in that book, and I really want to read that again. That's another one I want to read again. It's just madness.
How many books to reread?
There's just so many. I think the classics you can just reread them. They're like, but that's probably where I spend my probably spend my most money on classics, like the nice copies, because you want to read them over and over again, don't you? It's just
true. Yeah.
You can just get so much more out of them. Like Wuthering Heights, like we said, we've read how many? We both read loads of times. And it's just like we get stuff out of it every time. And rereading Jane Eyre this year was just like, and reading it with the girls, I got so much more out of it. And it was like interesting to watch people who read it for the first time go, oh, did you notice this? And did you notice that? And then me going, well, yeah. But I got more out of this bit. And it was like, so
yeah,
I think. So Wuthering Heights, Jane Eyre, and Tenant of Wildfell. That's Katie, and I'm Wuthering Heights, Jane Eyre, and Agnes Grey. But it is very close with Tenant and Agnes. But yeah, I think like reading it was quite interesting to read the bits, but the bit at the start, like where you've got the bits where in the hall and oh my goodness, yeah, the boarding school, and you know how autobiographical that was as well.
So good. Yeah.
Heartbreaking every time.
Yeah.
But I love the fact we both love Wuthering Heights. That's just like the best book that's probably my favourite book ever. Like I know yours is Dickens, but
yeah, Wuthering Heights would be in the top 5. But yeah, it's very, very good.
It's just I think. But I'm rereading Anne of Green Gables this year because I've got my Pretty Edition in September. I'm reading that again because that's probably my 3rd favourite classic. Because Anne is like so innocent. But yeah, that's like completely opposite to the Bronte.
A very different book to Wuthering Heights.
Chatty's joined it. Yes, I'm very like polar opposites, but everyone keeps telling me like I love Wuthering Heights because of how dark it is, and that's
Yeah,
we all need that darkness in our lives. I still can't believe we've got the same jumper, Katie. Because I was just saying, Katie's got
I'm wearing my Jane Eyre top. There's a Jane Eyre quote on it.
And I've got exactly the same one, but I didn't wear it for some reason. I nearly wore it. Charlie bought that for me years ago. I'm obsessed with Jane Eyre. It's actually, I've got the more probably Jane Eyre like memorabilia than I've got of only Wuthering Heights memorabilia, actually.
Oh yeah, I have a. Oh wait, that's the wrong one. Where's my? Oh yeah, here we go. I've also got a. I should have put this on. I've got a Wuthering Heights badge here.
Oh, cool.
This is from Malena's bookshop, actually. Of Milena Reads on BookTube. So yeah, I have a Wuthering Heights badge now, which is very fun.
I love that Katie bought me. Not Katie. I love the fact that Jack bought me my little dishcloth, and it's over my plastics. And on the other side of this, where I'm sitting now, I think Jack got the Bronte's. I've got the little postcard that's got the Bronte's writing room, and I've got 2 or 3 postcards of Jane Eyre postcards.
That's cool.
So hang on a minute. Oh, here we go. This is. Oh, I don't remember my childhood as much as Charlie does, which is quite scary. So Charlie put, growing up, Emily was always obsessed with Wuthering Heights. I remember you talking about it as soon as you read it as a teen. That doesn't surprise me. I did love it literally straight away. Mm-hmm. Sue's put nice pin. Chatty's put hint from Emily, more Wuthering Heights merch. Yeah, always more Wuthering Heights merch. Mm-hmm. Dazzy's put, I read Wuthering Heights when I was a lot younger, but found it very confusing. I read it last year and I really liked it. I think it's more of a maturity game changer. Yes, that's why I don't get why I love.
It's definitely a very confusing book because of all the different perspectives and stuff. It's very easy to get lost in Wuthering Heights, and there's so many, and the generations and the characters with the same names and stuff.
That just gets so confusing.
But yeah. It is true. I really understand why I loved Jane Eyre as a teenager, but I don't quite understand how I loved Wuthering Heights as much as a teenager as I did. But
I don't know how I got obsessed with it. I love Katie's literature merch. Yeah, I do. I love all your literature merch. It always makes me think it's amazing. I'm begging that one of these days, me and Charlie will go. I will go up to Haworth at some point. I need to go there. It's like one of my dream locations.
It's really cool to go to. I love Haworth. Yeah, so I've been to Haworth twice. So once I went as a kid, before I had read anything by the Brontes. But I do remember going around the house. And there's this room at the end, which where they have some of the maps that the Brontes had drawn as children of their world that they had created. I always forget what it's called.
Angria, is it
Gondor or something? I feel like maybe there's also something begin with G and there's something begin with A, and I can never remember.
Oh, I know.
But they had the maps there that they had drawn, and me and my brother were really excited because when we were kids, we used to make up worlds.
Yeah,
and
telling me that.
Yeah, and I have a really distinct memory of going to the Bronte parsonage at Haworth and being really excited by that, but also not really knowing who the Brontes were. And then I went back a few years ago, maybe 5 years ago, with some friends. And yeah, having read all the Bronte's books, and it was really, really exciting to go around and see. Yeah, it's really cool.
I need to go with BookTube lovers. I think maybe that'll be another dream place. Nada's put Wuthering Heights is a timeless gem. This holds a book in her heart. She's like seeing so much she avoids books that have the same intensity, like the play. Yes,
it has so intense. Yeah, that's so good.
But yeah, I think that my dream is to go back there with booktubers and people that love the Brontes, because I think if I went with Chris, he wouldn't get out of it what I would.
Yeah,
you've got to go there with people that love the Brontes. That would be just me.
It is amazing. Yeah.
Maybe I've got 4 years till my 50th. Maybe that'll be my 50th treat. I go up there.
Yeah.
We all go. Who knows? I don't imagine me leaving BookTube, so I can imagine it all carrying on.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So, hang on a minute. All right. So, Charlie. So, Roz has put the atmosphere and surroundings at Haworth really chime with the writing, so it's a special experience. Yes, I definitely want to go.
Yeah.
And we got Charlie's put yay for BookTube meetup in Haworth. That would be so cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's quite hard to get to. I think you can. I don't think it's that easy to get to on public transport.
No.
But it's maybe there is a bus. I'm sure we could find something out.
It was to try and work something out. Emily, as you put, Emily, do you remember the first Bronte you read? Yes, it was Wuthering Heights. It was read as a teenager. Katie's because she's watched it. Yeah, Wuthering
Yeah,
Heights
that's
was.
because I talk about Jane Eyre all the time.
Yeah. And Chatty's put, I read Wuthering Heights in my 20s on the Nintendo and hated all the characters so much she disliked the book. So Chatty's one of the ones that was.
I didn't know you could read books on the Nintendo. I didn't know that was a thing, but excellent.
Never heard that.
Yeah.
That's
But yes,
cool.
everyone is kind of awful in Wuthering Heights. So
she also read Wuthering Heights because it clips that in the Twilight Saga had the inspiration from it, and Bella was reading it.
Yeah, I feel like in Twilight it's like Wuthering Heights, the great love story, and you're like, I feel like Bella, maybe this explains some of your misunderstanding of what healthy relationships should be like. If you think Wuthering Heights is an example of a good relationship,
exactly. Wuthering Heights is like anti-relationship book.
Yeah, it's like
if you want a romance,
how dangerous passion is in a book. Yeah.
if you want, I'm sorry, if you want romance, you do not read the Brontes.
No, yeah. If you want a nice love story, yeah, the Brontes are not for you.
No.
Agnes Grey is all right. Agnes Grey isn't too toxic in its love stories, but the others are all quite bad.
Charlie's put, if you were reading on the Nintendo, you were doing something wrong, Chatty. I had a 100 classics as a game. Oh, thanks for the pride. Thank you, darling. That's okay. But yeah, I think, like, for me, if you want romances, you go Jane Austen. Jane Austen was probably my favourite romance writer in the classics.
She definitely has more love stories. Probably still some slightly problematic, but in general less toxicity than in the Bronte.
Yeah, definitely. Amazing Katie, Bella, and Wuthering Heights. Yeah, that does make sense. Katie's like completely getting it right. But like, I think you've got to like look at Wuthering Heights is the Antichrist on the romance, and you've got to look at Wuthering Heights as like the most dark book you've ever read.
Yeah, it's a great revenge story, and it's really good.
And it has the most problematic lead character in Heathcliff because he is just like the complete devil, born of the devil.
But
really,
he's so compelling.
He is,
and there are so many moments where I'm like, I feel so terribly sorry for you, but also he is terrible, but like also so real.
He's like the person. He's like the love to hate character. He's the character you love to hate, and yet you empathise with him. He's just like the ultimate bad boy that you just. He was like the first bad boy in literature, in my opinion.
I love that thought. Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, I just think like, but I think have I done a video? I can remember you've done a video about the lead male characters, like your favourite male character. I remember that one. You did about Mr. Rochester, and you did about some of the other ones, didn't you?
I don't remember. Maybe. I don't remember. I might have done.
You've done so many good videos.
I've done so many videos now. It's in June. It will be 10 years I've been on BookTube, so I do not remember all the videos I've made.
I'm sorry, you don't know what about the lead male characters, but I think probably not. I think so. I remember talking about Heathcliff, and then we talked about Mr. Rochester and comparing Mr. Rochester to some of Jane Eyre's lead male characters.
Maybe I have done. Maybe I have. Yeah.
Maybe that's a good video anyway. Your videos on the classics are brilliant. They're like my favourite ones to watch.
Thank you.
As soon as you put those up, it's like, right, that's going to be like watched really straight away. 10 years plus. Yes, Katie's celebrating 10 years. Hope it gives you a pen. It gives you a pen. Oh, yeah, Casey, 10 years is mad. Yeah.
It is.
I'm trying to think how many years I am now. I think I'm on 7 in April.
Yeah, you must be quite a lot as well.
I think I'm only a little bit far behind you. Yeah. Roz, if you're still there, remember you check. Roz will know because me and Roz started the same year. So I think it is 7 years this year.
That's cool.
Because I started because of Charlie. I was watching it for probably 8 years. Maybe it's not quite, And then it must have been 7 years. Charlie, you've got the best memory in the family. I swear to God, I've got brain fog since I've got older, but I think it is 7 years this year. But when I get to 10 years, I'm going to do something.
Yeah, I feel like I need to do something to celebrate the fact it'll be 10 years on BookTube in June. But I don't have any current plans, so I'll need to think of something.
Yeah, that's going to be
a fun video thing to do, because that is a really long time. That's like quite a big chunk of my life.
So Charlie started in 2018. The first time you were there, the year after. So that's two.
So then that would be Charlie 7 years ago. And
Charlie 7 years. So I must be 6 years this year then, maybe. So hang on, 6 years. Sorry. You alright, Mia? Sorry, my eldest has just walked in, so washing the joys of motherhood. Hang on a minute. Okay, so what does? So Roz is like 6 years. We think. I'm gonna have to double. So I think that probably is about right. 6 years. Then Chatty's put the Bronte retreat meetup thing he suggested by Kate at some point.
That would be good. Yeah.
Oh yeah, this year was the 10th of October.
It is the 10th of October. Yeah, which is exciting. I definitely need to plan something special for that. I do actually have possible ideas of special things for the 10th of October, but I don't have any current ideas of things for 10-year booktube anniversary in June, which is nearer. But there we go.
Yeah. Tim's put down. I looked up the Nintendo game. It's a kind of amazing. Okay.
That's fun. Yeah.
So he's put Wuthering Heights is not a love story yet. Mr. Heathcliff's Bad Boy. But I think that it's not a romantic hero, not a Mr. Darcy, but a wild person. Mr. Darcy is like the best. Mr. Darcy's another one I love. But that's another whole new thing for Jane Austen in July.
Yeah.
I've already got my books planned for that as well. I've already started. I bought Charlotte for that. She bought Charlotte the Helen Moffat book for that already.
Oh, good. Oh, I hope you like it.
I found that in a charity shop near me for like 25p. I was like really happy.
Oh, excellent. Yeah.
I can't wait to read that, but yeah. So you're definitely 10 years. I think 6 years. I don't think I'm going to do as much. So Nada's put down. She went. See, it'll be 6 years soon. So Nada's checked the date on the first video.
It's very fun.
I don't know why I thought it was 7 years. It was. I suppose it's been the year before. So yeah, it was the year before COVID, wasn't it? Because a lot of people joined the COVID. We need to do something to celebrate 10 years of books and things. Yes.
Yeah,
I'll shout you out, Katie.
I'll try and think of some. Maybe I need to do like a big live show and invite lots of people. Maybe we'll have gather many friends and a live show or something like that. Yeah, I have to think.
But I think I stopped watching a lot of the big booktubers. Oh God, I don't even know how long ago. I think at one point it was getting like so many big booktubers that I stopped. But I never stopped you. You were like the only one. So I stopped with Laura and Simon because it was just there were so many, and you know how
I mean I definitely feel like I watch so many booktubers, and my watch later playlist is always like 100 videos long, and I'm always watching people's videos like a month after they put them up. I'm always like, this is not sustainable, but there's so many people I want to watch, and there's so many.
I think I sort of started. It is hard, but I kind of sort of stuck with you because obviously we've got the most in common. Admittedly, your videos are seriously dangerous because.
Well, we have quite similar reading taste, don't we? So
very similar.
That means there's lots of crossover.
I bought a new book today. One of the books you recommend, the Alex Hay one, The Household.
So the new one, I've read The Queen of the Fives, which is his second book. The older one. Good. I haven't actually read The Housekeepers, but it is sat on my shelf and I really want to read it. So
I saw it in the charity shop for like £2. So
I'm sure it'll be great. His second book was fantastic, so I need to read that one too.
Alex Hay one, because I saw it and I was like, because like I said, watch your videos. It's like Casey's read that, she liked that. I'm gonna have to get that. Me and Danny's the same. Danny's read your books, and Jack's the same, exactly the same. All of the booktubers who say I started watching making videos because of Katie, and I'm one of them. Yeah.
Well, that's very nice.
You kind of inspired a lot of people. We think we definitely have the most taste out of. I think probably out of all my booktube friends, because even on the Waffle group, I don't have as much in common with all of them as I do with you.
Yeah, I think book taste, like in terms of like historical fiction and classics, and also probably in the like contemporary stuff we like as well.
Yeah, a lot of
you read. I was about to say you read more contemporary, but you read more everything than I do. I think, but
I've read
like, I think I think we have quite similar taste.
Very much so. So Lady's done 10 years for a 10-year celebration. So you're getting kind of like everyone.
Yeah, I'll think of some plan.
But yeah, I've read. I think my recent videos about the fact that I've said I'm going to kind of cut back. I'm stopping doing my stats because my mental health's having a bit of a dip at the moment. You'll see Monday's video. I kind of gained 59 books in March. We're not going to think about that.
That's fine. That's fine.
That number scared me.
It's your own personal library, and if you don't read them all, it's okay. You can just choose from them.
Exactly. I think it was like the fact that I'd done Katie can release a new book on the 10th. Don't put pressure on her.
Yeah, that's way too soon.
But I think I kind of I shouldn't have planned 3 big book shopping trips before my birthday when I gained like 25 books as gifts for my birthday.
That's fine.
So, to put that into comparison, I've got gained 59 books, but 25 of them were gifts.
Yeah. When it's your birthday month, you're always gonna get more.
Yeah, I think that was kind of like put myself. So I've actually read a bit less this month. I think I've just finished a book a minute ago, All the Mothers by Joanna Niveen. Nadine or something, and that was quite an interesting one. But I'm now starting a book that you would love, The Wartime Bookshop, the Penguin Wartime Bookshop. So by Joanna Toy, which is a kind of totally us book. I decided that on Mother's Day tomorrow I'm going to read a historical fiction book about bookshops.
Fun. That sounds good.
But yes, and books do make me happy. Yes, they do.
Yeah, books always do.
You've just got to read them, haven't you? There's just. But yeah, I'm saving up because my next big trip is obviously the London one. But that's the week before my operation, so I'm going to be allowed treats.
Yeah, I feel like you definitely need to treat yourself that week.
Yeah, that's Saturday. Like me and Charlie have literally planned it. We're meeting the Waffle Girls a little bit earlier, and Danny's going to be coming down for the first time.
Oh, good. Oh, I'm really glad. That'd be really nice.
Dad, you're going to love. Daddy's just like, she's just amazing. She's like a Scottish version of me in some ways. She's another one that's got very similar taste to us. It's like
it's always exciting as well, because I feel like on BookTube there's so many people where I'm like, oh, I watched so many of your videos and I feel like I've met you, and then it's nice when you actually meet people in real life.
It is so cool, isn't it, that we have like the meetups are quite good. They're such good fun, aren't they? Because we all do
fun. Like I remember the first time I met Tilly from Tilly's Shelf, and we were both like, oh, we haven't met in real life before, have we? We just kind of assumed we had. And it was, like I just think that you do, when you do get to know people pretty well through BookTube sometimes. And then,
I remember your BookTube launch, I'd met Roz for the first time, and I remember going, like proper fandom. But we met for the first time, even though we'd been chatting for years. It was
exactly. And I still, I have lots of American BookTube friends who live very, very far away, and I have not met in real life, and like don't know when I will. But you do get to know people really well through BookTube, which are one of the really nice things about it.
BookTube is the best place ever. Let's be honest.
It is very cool.
I think because I was saying to my mum, I think in some ways I've got more. I speak to when I've had problems. I speak more to my BookTube friends than I probably do to some of my friends here, because it's easier. We have so much in common.
Yeah.
Obviously, Charlie's kind of stuck with me in both lives, so poor Charlie gets double whammy of me. But I love the fact we all share the same friends, so it's also like an extra person to go shopping with.
Yeah.
But Kat's gonna watch this video, and Kat's not come on our London meetup, but she would love it. I'm gonna have to drag her down for one of those. But when we met for the first time, it's like we met on BookTube, and it was like I think we met last year, and it was like for the first time we'd known each other for years. It was like meeting up, and it was like nothing. It's like we'd always known each other, and we'd always But the University of Knowledge BookTube being the best.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I'm so glad you did start the BookTube meetups, aren't you? Though, because of that, and do you think about?
Yeah, it's been really lovely to see people in person. It's just really nice to meet up with people, and I think especially because like the UK isn't that big in the grand scheme of things, so like it feels quite feasible to have UK BookTube meetups, and some people come, an hour on the train, and some people come 4 hours on the train, but actually it's quite feasible to get quite a lot of us together, and it is really nice to see people in person and just have a good chat about books. Yeah.
I think people are the best, which we are both. I think it's definitely. I think the community, but loving the same books, loving the Brontes, and doing all of this, it's been so much fun. What books did you end up reading for the readathon? So I'll have to probably go for another. Probably aim for another 10 minutes, and I think I'll probably.
Yeah, I haven't read as much of the readathon as I wanted to. March has been quite busy. I was on holiday, and then I got back from holiday, and work has been very, very busy the last 2 weeks. So I am rereading Wuthering Heights. I'm like just over halfway through, but I have not yet finished. But I've been listening to the audiobook, which has just been a joy as always. So that's my like actual book by one of the Brontes. And then I am reading The Favourite by Fran Littlewood, which is
you said about that one.
Which I thought would be good for the sibling prompt, and also it's about
is it good?
It's really good. I'm about a quarter of the way through, so I'm hoping I will read some more of it over this weekend. But yeah, it's really good so far. So it's about a family, 3 sisters, all in their 40s. And at the beginning of the book, they're on holiday like as a family with their extended family, and they're in a forest, and a tree falls, and it seems like it's going to fall on them, and their dad saves one of them, and they are all okay. Like no one is hurt, but they all know that their dad went to save one of his kids. And so then it's like the drama of the unfolding drama of that, of how they all feel about him having a favorite
I'm gonna have to read that.
Yeah, it's really good so far. It's really good. I loved her first book as well. It's not actually out till June. I've got a proof copy, but it's very, very good. Yes, cool. And then, well, so yeah. So for the prompt to read a dark book, I picked up Nettle Black by Nat Reeves, which looked from the cover to be really gothic, and then was actually quite cozy. So it wasn't very dark in the end. It is set in the Victorian period, but it was actually like, and there were some dark elements, and there were some like mystery elements, but it was mostly quite cozy. Quite well. But I did read. I also read The Shadow Key by Susan Stokes Chapman this month, which is historical fiction set in 18th century Wales, and that was quite gothic and dark. So I feel like that.
That would count,
yeah. Yeah.
I think I've read one of her books. I read the Pandora's Box by her.
Yeah. I haven't read that one, but I've read her. Read
that was quite good.
Instead, but I enjoyed that. Yeah. And then, and I was reading an Anthony Trollope book this month that had a character called Emily in. So there we go.
Oh, that's cool.
As well.
Oh, which one was that? You have to tell me because I have to look for that.
He Knew He Was Right.
Isn't that one the Pallister?
No, it's a standalone one. And I had read it before, but like when I was 15. So that's been really nice to reread. I finished that a couple of days ago. I listened to that in audiobook. It's very good. It's very long, but it's very good. Yeah. What have you been reading this month then? What have you been reading?
So I've read for the sibling one. I read the Walsh Girls book, the Marion Keyes book, which matched for the Irish Readathon as well as that one. And I didn't like that one as much. It was the second one, and I didn't like that one as much. And I don't know why, but I didn't like it. It was Maggie's story, and I didn't like that one as much. For the dark prompt, I read Starling House by which is a sort of like very gothic-y kind of like fantasy book. That was really good. What did I read? So Emily one. I read the Emily Wildness. That was probably one of my ultimate even though it didn't get quite at 5 stars. I almost wish I had put it as 5 stars. Emily Wildness is Encyclopedia of Fairies.
Yes, I always hear good things about that. Yeah,
it's amazing. I bought the second one on the holiday when I went to the last London trip. Obviously reread Jane Eyre. I read the Tales of Anglia, and I said I read it, and I rated it like 2 stars, but I got about halfway through, and it still counted as read because it was nearly halfway through.
Yeah.
I hated it.
Whenever I've read any of the Bronte's Juvenilia, I've really struggled with it. Like I've read quite a bit now in various bits and pieces, and I always just really, really struggle with it. I feel like they invented their own world, and no one else can get in. Like the writing is just too confusing. And fair enough, they wrote it when they were quite young, but I find that really difficult too. Like it's definitely them learning how to write rather than them.
I think I bought that on AB.
People they were later.
Yeah, I bought it on AB Books. I think I'm just gonna see if anyone wants it and then just give it away.
Yeah. I really struggle with Juvenilia. Yeah.
Nada's. I'm gonna catch up on the comments. Nada's put. I met one of her dearest friends through Victoria Goodreads discussion board. Wow. Chatty. Tim put Chatty's Nintendo game includes books by 3 Brontes. Oh,
that's fun.
Leslie's put BookTube is a good way to connect with people. Yeah.
It is.
Here we go. Tim put Trollope's Barchester
Towers. That is weird in the Nintendo game to have the second book in the series and not the other 5.
Yeah, exactly. Charlie's put that's lovely, Nada. Leslie's put thanks extremely. Thanks for my booktubers practice their English. Wow, that's so cool.
That's very cool.
You've done really well. You love it. Yes, you did really well on this live show. But I think I read a lot of the good books, but I don't think the Juvenilia was just going to be like I said.
Like when I read Jane Austen's Juvenilia, I'm like, this is hilarious. I really, really enjoy it. But sometimes when I read other authors' Juvenilia, I'm like, no, I don't feel like I need to read all of this. And the Brontes, I have struggled with quite a lot. Yeah.
I'm not going to try again. But I did think, like I said, I think for me the biggest success was Emily Wildness because Charlie gave me that book ages ago. And I had to read it because I had the Emily. I could read an Emily Henry. I just bought Emily Henry's latest one in paperback. The funny story. You started liking that. I haven't read Funny Story yet, but I love Emily Henry. Funny Story is her more recent one that's in paperback.
Yeah, I think that's quite recent because I've read the other 4.
She's got another one
Funny Story I've got on hold in the library, but hasn't come in yet.
I'm thinking I'm going to wait until it comes into paper because I got Funny Story in a gorgeous sprayed edges edition from the Works.
Oh, very nice.
Blue sprayed edges.
Yeah, I've been listening to all Emily Henry on audiobook. Like I've listened to all the books by her I've read. I've listened to on audiobooks, and now that's my
that's how you go
tradition with Emily Henry. Yeah, and the same narrator does all of them, and she's a very good reader. Yeah,
I found Emily Henry because of you as well.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I love Emily Henry. I think she's one one of my absolute favorite, like, and so actually one of my favorite romance writers, and she is, but also just one of my favorite contemporary writers, like one of my favorite writers who writes stuff set in the present. I just think she's very good at writing, like, about people. She's so good.
Charlie read Victorian Psycho, which I told people it's like Secrets of Heartwood Hall if you like Psycho.
I mean, that sounds kind of fascinating. I haven't read Victorian Psycho, but good to know.
I couldn't do psycho books. Like, you know me, I'm not. And also, you can't retell them in your secrets. That's just like the best book ever. That's one of. I'm sorry, I love. I love The Trouble with Miss Monroe has, but there was something about The Secrets of Heartwood Hall that it's going to go down as one of my favorite books ever.
I feel like they're very different books, so I feel like different people will like different ones more. I like Montgomery Hearst more myself.
I know you did. I remember you saying.
But I'm therefore also glad that some people like The Secrets of Heartwood Hall more, because I feel more like
The Secrets is more of a me book. You know.
Yeah. Well, and I think they're both very different. They've got like lots of different things in them that different people will like. Hopefully.
I'm still gutted I never got a signed edition because I didn't get to go to the live one because of Oliver.
Well, bring the book to the next meetup and I'll bring
the book and I'll just carry it.
I'll sign it for you.
Oh, so funny. It was just obviously that was obviously a tragic time for us, unfortunately.
I know. Yeah.
But I think she would love that. Yeah, it was just The Secrets is just always going to be. You can't do anything, Charlie. Like I said, you can't mess The Secrets. That's actually one of your book. Your book. I'm going to have to reread again because I think I love the fact you have the deaf representation. It's why it's going to get mentioned in my. Because yes, we're doing Spoonies again in May.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
So we go down as Spoonies, have a Spoonies recommendation. And Cheryl's read The Secrets of Heartwood Hall.
Cheryl, thank you very much.
I remember she was there though, because I think Kate, there's yes, Alice loved it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we all got to. Everyone loved it. See, that was the first time it was kind of cool. I remember telling everyone, I'm friends with an author. That's my cheesy bit that I made everyone laugh. Like, it's so cool, but yeah, I think it's so cool. We are still looking forward to your next one.
Yes, well, we will see whenever that happens.
Yeah, Cheryl, Alice bought it for her.
That's really nice.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember her buying it. And it's one that I say to people, if you like the Brontes and like books like that, then definitely get The Secret. That's the perfect though, isn't it? The fact that we've got two books of yours to recommend. So if you obviously loved more Jane Austen, then we tell people Trouble with Mrs. Monroe Hearst. And if you like more darker books, then obviously Secrets.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Chatty's just put she plans to read Secrets. She plans to read The Secrets in October, but she expects it. Trouble with Mrs. Montgomery to her to be her favourite.
I love that your dad read Montgomery Hearst as well. Thank you.
That's so cool, isn't it?
I like it when people also. I don't know. There's something really lovely and nice about people reading your books. But I also every now and then people I know tell me that they've recommended their books to my books to their friends or their parents or their family, and that's just also like really really lovely. Yeah.
I think I let Charlie after tell me, but I think my mum's read them as well because mum reads all my books.
Yeah, I know your mum reads a lot of books. You often say in your videos, so which is fun.
It's so funny. She's got very similar taste to us as well, but she doesn't like she doesn't like books that are too dark. She can't cope with too dark, depressing books.
Sometimes you just don't need all that.
I'm gonna go. That's it. I'm gonna have to check. It's Mother's Day tomorrow. I'm gonna have to ask her if I've lent it to her. I'm fussy with some of the hardbacks I don't like lending out.
That's fair.
But I always think it's funny because when I've seen your books in like Waterstones and I've gone up to the salespeople. Actually, yeah, I remember we're like really good friends with me and Charlie are really good friends with the manager of our Waterstones in Bracknell, and we saw The Secrets in paperback, and I went, I'm friends with the author. She was like, what? Really? Like, I've read this book. It's amazing. And I'm like, yeah.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's really nice.
So cool. It was just like. It was just so much fun when I was chatting, and he likes game, but he likes books that we like. He kind of gives me a bit of deals over there, which is quite cool.
That's fun, yeah.
Always helps when Waterstones. You think Waterstones, but I think I've sort of kind of gone over to Waterstones more than Amazon now because I like the points and I like the people in Waterstones. So Charlie's put Olivia Binnier is a great narrator on both books. I've not listened to it. I don't listen to audiobooks, unfortunately.
I love audiobooks. I listen to a lot of them now. A big chunk of my reading. Yeah.
But so Chatty said she was on holiday and she said her mum was sending her.
Excellent. Cool.
That is so cool. But I'm just so grateful because I'm a sucker for Waterstone sprayed edges. Yeah, I am. They do get pretty copies, don't they, in all the Waterstones? Do you find that sort of influences your buying, Katie, if you see a pretty copy of the book?
Sometimes. I don't actually have many things with sprayed edges. I guess that's often hardbacks, and I don't tend to buy a ton of hardbacks because I like paperbacks more. So I get hardbacks usually either if it's like a new Natasha Pulley book. I think it's because I'm looking at the new Natasha Pulley book, which came out last week. And obviously I pre-ordered that because it was pre-ordered Natasha Pulley. And then like if I go to a book launch, then I will often buy the book and that's often the hardback, or then I get presents that are hardbacks. But usually if I'm buying a book, I'll buy a paperback. And then it doesn't tend to be sprayed edges. But like if it is if it's a really nice cover, that would probably impact it if I was in a bookshop. Yeah.
Chatty's put, what do we need to do to get your sprayed edges on your...
Buy a lot more copies than I sell. You have to be selling an awful lot of copies before you get sprayed edges, alas.
I'm guessing that. Yeah,
but yes, maybe one day that would be nice. But
in the future, we'll think about how that'll happen. But no, I think I'm a sucker for sort of sprayed edges, but again, it has to be certain books. I don't buy very many books straight out in hardback unless it's one I know I'm going to keep, like the new Taylor Jenkins Reid. I know that I'll get that.
If it's an author you know you love already, then you can feel like it's nice to have the hardback.
And the new Beth O'Leary I'm probably going to get as well. Beth O'Leary's
really good. I've only read her first two. I need to read more because I love The Fletcher and The Switch, and then I just haven't read the rest.
But she just did a giveaway on Instagram, and she like did this connection, and you have to enter it, and then you have to put your name or something, and then she'll send you a snippet of the next book. So do I. But she actually chatted back to me in the comments, when I said, "Oh, thank you, I love it," and she actually chatted back, and I was like, "That actually makes me want to buy my books more." And I think if authors do converse more, then that does make you want to.
Yeah, which a lot of them do. Which is really nice. Yeah,
we have got more on that, I think. But yeah, Swept Away is definitely one I'm gonna be getting. But a lot of I don't get a lot of the contemporary authors we like don't just go straight to paperback, don't they?
Yeah.
Although I'm annoyed, Kathy Brownlee's got her next one's going to be hardback, and I'm like, oh god, don't like that because I don't want to have hardbacks. So I've got all of them in paperback, so I don't want to mix them.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So Chatty says she likes hardback. We are going to finish it in a minute. But she likes, luckily, fantasy and middle grade normally get pretty ones. Daisy's got to go. Yeah, we are going to shoot off. I think I'm going to say 3 more minutes, the final 3 minutes, and then like Chatty's just put Juno Dawson's humour right. So yeah, that I kind of need to read the second Juno Dawson book in the series, but the ending of the first one scared me, literally.
I feel like I had quite a similar thought. Yeah, I thought the first one was.
Did you feel the same as well?
Yeah, I loved what's the first one? Her Majesty's Royal Coven. I was like, I really want to read the second one, but also I feel like the very end of the last one, I was like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen next. But
I know that was why I was like scared. I was like actually like scared to pick up the second because the twist at the end. I was like, well, it is on the shelf. I will read it, but. Yes, but this has been such a fun live show. It has gone on a bit longer, but it's been so much fun, Katie. Thank you so much for this.
Very nice.
And thank you for everyone. Chat show has just put lovely chat, lovely to see you all. Thank you for reading. Thank you everyone that did the readathon. Thank you all for your support. My subscriber count's kind of gone up by quite a big jump actually.
That's really good.
So it's maybe quite a little boost a happy bit, but yeah, it's been so much fun hosting it. Next year, who knows what I'll do for my birthday? Whether I'll do something on maybe I won't the birthday next year. Maybe I'll do something for 7 years. Who knows? But Jennifer says she thinks lovely both. Chatty's put woohoo. But yes, it's been that I've sod it. We'll finish it now. But I'm shattered. But we'll say goodbye to everyone. But thank you all for joining in, and I'll see you all soon.
Bye.
In the live chat first. There you go.